All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. My name is Gary Grote. I'm the Executive Director for the Greater East Aurora Chamber of Commerce. And this is our kickoff for Real World Careers Meet the Professionals. And our goal in doing this program is to connect the students in the school districts that we represent, East Aurora, Iroquois, Holland, and BOCES, the Ormsby Center, with people in different professions and careers that you might be interested in your planning for the future. And we're very fortunate today to have Stacy Bastian, who's the administrator for Absolut Care at Aurora Park. And Absolut Care is a sponsor of this program, so we really appreciate it. Thank you to Stacy and everyone at Absolut. But it's a time for us to present career tracks and industries that you might be interested in, opportunity to hear from people who are directly involved in those careers and industries, and an opportunity for you to ask questions about your interest in those careers in ways that we might be able to help you and give you a little direction. So again, we'd like to welcome everybody. And Stacy, do you mind if I turn it over to you now? And if you can just do a little introduction of yourself, talk about Absolut Care, and maybe start highlighting some of the different career tracks.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here and to discuss the different career opportunities that our facility offers to students in high school. I myself have 3 young daughters, one that just graduated college, one that's in college, and one that is still in high school. And I recognize the importance of, choosing a career path. It can be confusing, but I'd like to educate and give information. And, it might be something that you want to engage in and explore a little more. So I am the facility administrator here at Absolut Care. We have a 320-bed healthcare facility. What's long-term care, you may ask? A lot of people have perceptions of nursing homes and, tend to only think of nurses in our facility. But there are so many more different opportunities. Our facility services residents here. We offer long-term care, we offer rehab care, and we offer dementia care. With rehab care, it's almost like what you can imagine as a med-surg unit in a hospital. A lot of high level care needs for people that are more acutely ill to assure that their healthcare needs are met. And we look at the individuals holistically. So when you think about career paths, a nursing home doesn't just offer nursing as a job. You could participate in our activities department, which focuses on the needs of the resident more mentally and engaging for their happy health. I like to refer to it as, activities individuals spend time with our residents, engage in games, participate in crafts, help them to communicate with their loved ones right now with COVID, as we're restricted with visitation to prevent the spread of the virus. We have dietary staff members here, individuals that help prepare the food for the residents. And, that's one of the things they really look forward to. I know I'm one of those individuals that wake up in the morning and I think about where I'm going to go for dinner. So that's something they look forward to. So they pride themselves on creating, making good meals for the residents, as well as dietitians, individuals who look at the nutritional needs of those individuals. And especially when maybe their health is compromised or they're going through an illness, these people look at their nutritional needs to make sure that we're giving them all the vitamins and nutrients they need to return to their best healthy self. We have therapists here, physical therapists and occupational therapists. They focus on the exercises of the physical body, making sure that individuals get strength in their legs so they can walk and maintain independence, in their fingers so they have what we refer to as dexterity with picking up simple items like a pen or a fork or a knife, focusing on exercises to keep them strong, so they can maintain their highest level of independence and health. We also have social workers here on staff. These individuals, again, are focused on the mental health of individuals. You know, for people that live here long term, it's, you know, making sure that their mood is good, making sure that they're talking out feelings, addressing any concerns related to their mental health. If it's individuals that are here for short term, for a rehab stay, it's helping them to plan for when they go home back to the community, to assure that they have the support that they need, with maybe a visiting nurse or a visiting therapist to continue their journey, to returning to health. Uh, in addition, we have maintenance staff on board, housekeeping staff on board that focus on the grounds, that focus on the cleanliness of the facility and making sure it's an environment where they feel uncomfortable and safe and the equipment is safe that is used for them. And then lastly, we have, you know, a lot of clerical individuals that focus on the paperwork behind the scenes, focusing on the medical records, focusing on admitting people to our facility, discharging people for our facility and being efficient with that, communicating to the families, assuring that their questions are asked, answered, and lastly, nurses and CNAs that are the direct care staff. I myself, I could use myself as an example. I started my career in healthcare just out of sheer luck. I actually wanted to be a teacher, and there was a friend of mine who was going to nursing school. So I said, oh, what the heck, I'll do that. You know, I wasn't really sure on where I wanted to be. And I went to nursing school and ended up loving it. I actually started my career as a certified nursing assistant. Nursing assistants provide direct care to individuals, meeting their physical needs, helping them to do their activities of daily living, and then help them with their walking, with their transfers, you know, just making sure their needs are met if they can't meet them on their own. Um, Thereafter, through a healthcare facility and the ownership that now owns Absolut, at a sister facility where I was employed for many years, they actually sent me back to school, not once, not twice, but 3 times, so that I can end up where I am here today. They sent me back to school, supporting me to get my registered nurse degree. I worked for 13 years as a licensed practical nurse. Licensed practical nurses focus on, you know, meds, treatment administration to the residents, you know, doing that direct care level for individuals in a facility like this. Registered nurses here in the facility have opportunities to supervise, to run a unit, and then as you go back to school, this organization also sent me back for my bachelor's degree. Bachelor's degree nurse actually has more leadership involvement, and that's where my career then took me to running a unit, to running the rehab unit, to an assistant director of nursing, to a director of nursing. And then they sent me back to school last time where I got my administrator license, where ultimately now I'm responsible for the 320 souls in this facility on the resident side, as well as the 400 plus staff members that we have here. So, you know, from a girl that lived and grew up on the east side of Buffalo, in a single family home, you know, worrying about food, you know, with our family, that was our reality. Through this employer, I've had the opportunity to become the first college graduate in my family, and, you know, have the security of, you know, having a job in healthcare, but more importantly, making a difference in the lives of the individuals that we care for. You know, healthcare is a very rewarding career for individuals who take a career path in healthcare. You know, it doesn't just have to end in this setting, a long-term care setting. You know, truthfully, you could do anything you want in healthcare. You know, there's the acute hospital setting, you know, there's school nurses. There are nurses that look at the legalities of certain paperwork in different entities. There are community nurses that, go to people's homes and meet the needs of individuals there. So you may be at that point, in high school where you're saying, what do I want to do? I encourage you to, if you get the opportunity, a lot of high schools require volunteer hours or internships. Facilities like ours, especially not in the pandemic world, do offer opportunities for volunteering. Now, you could also look at, entry job levels. Maybe you're not sure you want to be that direct caregiver, but you're kind of curious. Look at an activities role, where you're engaging with the residents and you're getting a feel for how the facility looks. And, if it does interest you, we offer paid training for certified nursing assistants. We offer the classes here. And then, individuals who are in good standings with our work, they do like they did for me, where they can offer to possibly pay for your college, and you'll have a guaranteed job when you're done. It's very rewarding. I get a lot of satisfaction and pride in doing what I do, knowing that, I'm contributing to making a difference in the lives of others. And it's pretty simple. You think about it as, how would you want your mother, your father, your grandparent cared for? And then you just apply that and give them the care that they deserve. I can't hear you, Gary.
Can you hear me now? All right. It seems like there's obviously great satisfaction in these types of careers, but the opportunities are pretty broad and open also, right?
Endless. It's endless. You don't have to necessarily go the nursing path. That's my path. That's my story. But again, there is exposure to different job professions in a facility like this, where, you may look into a therapy role or a dietitian role or a social work role. There's a lot of exposure to different career opportunities in a setting like ours.
And in terms of taking that first step, we have some representation from the Ormsby Center, BOCES, on this call, and there's an introduction to to the healthcare field through BOCES, and there, as you mentioned, internships that are possibly normally, other than a COVID era time, that are generally available to at Absolut. But what are the in terms of colleges and looking at different career tracks, whether it's community colleges, 2-year school, 4-year school? Are there any comments on that?
Well, I could speak actually from personal experience on both components. The BOCES program for individuals who participate in that in the health career, I believe, the category, and they offered junior and senior year. My oldest daughter actually participated in that because she was kind of questioning, what do I want to do? And she went to them, and they had clinical situations where they went to different facilities, long-term care facilities like ourselves, and gave the students exposure, especially those that were looking to become certified nursing assistants. So, that is a good opportunity if, for high school students that are, kind of questioning about it. I think they offer, great information, great opportunity, and great knowledge about what healthcare careers are and what they offer. In regards to colleges, for myself, I kind of went every step. I did the certified nursing assistant. I found that, individuals that took that path, you have a good empathy and understanding as you grow and become a nurse, supervising certified nursing assistants and knowing what their job entails. It kind of made it easier for me. So I continued that, and the LPN is a nice nurse position, which usually only takes 12 months of schooling through a accredited program. I know Trocare offers an LPN program. I believe BOCES does too. And there are other LPN programs in the area where, you know, you end after 12 months, you take your boards and you have a nice paying job. You know, it's life-changing, you know, money, and you're making a difference in the lives of others. In regards to RN classes, you know, the 2-year program, my daughter actually took that path as well as I did. The 2-year program is nice because you complete the program, you take your boards, and then it elevates you to an even higher level of pay scale, and more opportunities open up for you with, you know, the registered nursing degree and credentials. If you're interested in leadership and then hospital, you know, positions, the bachelor's degree, the 4-year program is usually required, but you can do a lot of that online while still working as an RN if you completed your 2-year program. You know, so you're getting life experience, you're making pretty good money, and you know, it's not overwhelming enough to do the courses online, and you have relatability because you're already in the field. So, you know, there are many different career paths you could take. That, you know, was one that I've seen personally from my own experience, and then observing my daughter do it. It's been very effective, but you know, that doesn't have to be everybody's story. You know, there are so many different paths you could take. Again, it's endless. I encourage the students to talk with their counselors, you know, and see what works for them.
I hate to take away from your comments there, but it just seemed we lost there was a noise going on there, so I don't know if you heard it. But I just wanted to stop that if we could with that noise. But are there any questions for Stacy? Anybody have any questions? You can submit those to the chat room. There's a lot of good information there, and we've got, you know, a professional who has a broad range of experience across, you know, the healthcare industry. And you can tell, you know, by Stacy's, the steps that she's taken to get where she is now is pretty interesting. And it shows the route and the pathway that you can take if you're interested in this. And Stacy, I don't know if you or maybe Kasha can maybe share your contact information too, maybe in the chat room somehow, so that if anybody's interested afterwards, they can reach out to you if they have any questions.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Are there any questions right now from anybody?
And we'll share that contact information. And you know, sometimes it's a lot of information. You know, the students, if they're interested, you're more than welcome to reach out to me at any time via the email or calling the facility. And if you think of any other questions or, you know, insight, I'd be more than happy to talk with you.
Okay. Are the students that we have, if maybe just by raising your hand, are you currently enrolled or involved in the healthcare classes? If you are, okay. Okay, we got one or two. So yeah, it's but they're great opportunities there, and I'd like to thank you. If there aren't any other questions, I don't know if there's any other last comments you have, Stacy, if you'd like to make, or I mean, I know you've offered all your insights and your interest in helping people if they were trying to reach out to you. The COVID situation offers some challenges. Are there ways to get around that?
In regards to like internships and such?
Internships or things like that.
We've been working with area schools. You know, we have had students come during the pandemic, work with them to assure that they have negative testing prior to coming to our facility, as well as then we test them routinely here for their clinicals, you know, to help support them. But we're more than willing, you know, with area schools to reach out to work. You know, as we get past the COVID, I'm familiar with a program that we've run at other facilities, a MASH camp per se, where we've actually, you know, come out to the schools, or the schools would field trip to the facilities and actually go through and take a tour. You know, I'm hoping once we get past COVID, we could do that and establish relationships, because, you know, it starts, you know, high school, it starts when you're young, you know, and I guess my best advice is, you know, take high school seriously. You know, and remember, if you're working at a Tim Hortons, if you're working at a retail store and that, you know, employers like us look for the soft skills, you know, for individuals when we're considering bringing people on board, and, you know, paying for colleges and advancement. You know, we want to make sure that you're respectful, that you come to work as scheduled, uh, that your performance is putting in forth an effort. So, you know, even if it's a Tim Hortons, and, you know, even if it's important, we look at that. We want feedback from your supervisors, so it matters. And, you know, be mindful of the choices that you make when you're young, because it could follow you when you get older. And, you know, be aware with social media. You know, I started in as the CNA when I was 18, you know, right out of high school. So, you know, it's, they'll look for the references, they'll look for where you worked before and your patterns. And that's important in healthcare, because, I mean, think about it. I can't have, you know, staff here that doesn't show up, because it directly affects somebody's life. So, you know, make wise choices, you know, be mindful.
Those are really important comments, and I think a lot of that we hear from other employers too, especially the soft skill kind of needs, the personal contact and relationships and dealing with people. Those are very important, but also the things that you mentioned in terms of social media, your activity on social media, and things of that nature. Employers look at that.
We
They
do.
do. And so you have to be careful that you don't that you make good decisions, because they can affect, especially now, in as much as social media is being used and people have access to it, it's out there forever. And
Yes.
people, a future employer can get that information, and if you made a bad decision, unfortunately, some of that may stick for a long time. So, but we did have a question, Stacy. How old do you have to be to work as a CNA?
As a CNA, you have to be 18 years old. But again, if you're interested in exploring coming into the facility, and maybe you're a junior or a senior, activities department is a great entry level. You know, they tend to work with the high school hours, and offering part-time. We even have positions that are referred to as per diem, where it's more, you know, working with the hours that you can accommodate to come in and, you know, plug in and support our full and part-time staff here. But it's a good way to come in and see what we're all about. And then, you know, if you're interested in the CNA role, again, we offer training here at our facility that is paid, and you'll get a certification that you could take on with you. And again, you know, that bumps up you know, the finances you're making and opportunities that are available to you.
Okay. Great. Are there any other questions or anything? And in the chat box, there was Stacy had her contact information and everything. Uh, and all right. Anything else before we leave?
No,
Stacy, I'd like to thank you and Absolute Care for your support for this and for being part of this. I think it was really important, and it was a very good presentation.
thank
Uh,
you.
we will, just so for everybody's information, and maybe you might be interested in some of the things that we're doing in the future, we're going to be presenting this program twice a month through May. And our next presentation will be Wednesday, January 27th at 10 a.m. And we'll send out the link to each of your schools, and they can share that. It will be with Tim Clark. It will be with Tim Clark, who is the film commissioner for the Buffalo Niagara Film Commission, and he's going to talk about careers in the film industry. And he's got a really good perspective on that. He's involved here locally with a lot of the filming and things that are done in the Buffalo area. He is the chairperson for the International Film Commission Association, which connects him worldwide with other film commissioners and the network of film production around the world. And if you don't know this, the reason that we felt it was important is that Hallmark and a couple other networks are building large studios, sound studios in the Buffalo area. And within the next year or two, those studios should be in operation. And there'll be more. I'm sure most of you are aware that there have been films made here in East Aurora and Western New York area. That's only going to get stronger. And there are going to be a lot of opportunities, not only for performers and talent, but for technicians, camera people, sound people, wardrobe, those kinds of positions. And Tim will talk about that and more at our meeting on January 27th. And then on Wednesday, February 10th, we'll be talking with Pete Sergi. He's the employee relations manager for Moog. And I'm sure you all know that Moog is a huge employer here in the aerospace industry. So he'll be talking about the different career tracks and positions available at Moog and what is happening in their industry in various careers. So we've got a lot coming up. I think there's a lot that's really exciting and can provide a lot of great information for students and teachers locally. So we'd like to thank Stacy again and Kasha and Absolut Care for their participation today and their sponsorship. And I'd like to thank all of you who are here for listening, for participating. And as we said, this will be recorded and it will be available for future use. Each of our programs in the future will be recorded. So they'll be archived and people can access them then. So again, thank you all very much. And we hope you enjoyed this. And again, Stacy, thank you.
Thank you.
We hope everybody has a great day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.